Welcome. This is Accessible Self-Care during COVID-19. My name is Alison Olt-Kerr. I use the pronouns she, her, and I'm a naturopathic physician, the owner of PranaVis Medicine, and I'm also a yoga instructor with Team Yoga Wild. If you are new to Yoga Wild's YouTube channel, please take a moment to subscribe. There should be a button down below to the channel. Okay, let's get in this. Over the course of 5 short lectures, I'm going to cover some very simple self-care techniques that we can all use to help us during this time. I know that what I found is that the CDC recommendations of washing your hands, avoiding touching your face, and social isolation, while they're so crucial and very important and should be our first line of treatment, have left me feeling a little bit like, is that all I can do during this time to help protect myself and my family? As a naturopath, I've spent a lot of time thinking about the origins of naturopathic medicine. And the roots of naturopathic medicine are in the European spa tradition. This is the idea that back in the 19th century, when illness came to crowded urban areas, people would leave town and they would go to areas of respite where they were able to eat nourishing food and spend time in nature, take long walks and baths, and use hydrotherapy to help them heal. So those are the things that I think quite a lot about as a practitioner. And the simple truth about all of that is that it really was people of privilege who were able to do those things. And so I also spend a lot of time thinking about ways that we can make self-care truly accessible to all people. Now, of course, I can't possibly know what your personal medical history is, and I can't possibly make a recommendation that suits every single person. So please take that into account as you watch these videos. We're going to begin with an introduction to nasal breathing and how it may help you during this time. I'll then talk about the immune system and what it actually is and the most important thing that you can do to help your immune system during this time, as well as my favorite thing that you can do to help your immune system during this time. Have a conversation about the microbiome and how it impacts the immune system, and talk about cortisol and the best thing that you can do to help manage cortisol levels throughout the day. Okay, I want to add a couple things. The CDC recommendations, so important. Again, wash your hands, avoid touching your face, social distancing, those are first line. If I can add a little bit extra, I'm going to encourage you, if you don't already have one, to grab a thermometer. What I'm finding in the patients that I work with who are contacting me with concerns about this is that one of the first questions I ask is, do you have a fever? Now, 87% of people who do test positive for COVID-19 will have an associated fever. But it's a little bit confusing because it turns out that 98.6, which is what we all think of as a normal temperature, is not actually normal for everybody. So having a thermometer to regularly take your temperature and know what your normal temperature is may help us pick up cases of a positive infection before they get too severe. Okay, that's step number 1 I want to add. And then I want to end this short introductory video with a technique that I've used many times through the years. Now, I'm a military spouse, and that's meant over the past 18 years that multiple times my partner has left. That frequently leaves me in a place of feeling out of control and having anxiety, a lot like what we're all feeling right now. During those times, what I've done is sat down with a piece of paper and literally written out the things that I was afraid of, from small fears like what would I do if the car broke down, or what would I do if something happened to me and my kids didn't know how to get help. Identifying those fears and then coming up with ideas to solve them or prevent them has been tremendously helpful for me to gain a sense of agency and control during times in my life that were more challenging. So I'm going to highly suggest that you begin that process. Do it with a friend. It's not easy to identify your fears, but it's very beneficial. If you're working with a therapist, maybe that's something that you could do during one of your online sessions. There's a great YouTube video out there by Tim Ferriss. It's called Fear Setting. We'll make sure that that link goes into the notes for the YouTube channel. It's a good name as I've ever heard to describe this process of identifying those things that you're scared of and beginning to manage them. Okay, next up is an introduction to nasal breathing and why it's important. Please stay with us. Again, my name is Alison Old-Kerr. Thank you for being here. And if this video was helpful for you at all, please consider sharing with a friend or a loved one so that we can continue to support Yoga Wild. Thanks.